guys, what's going on? It's Twintuitive717. I am back with another video. I hope everyone is doing incredibly well. So today we're going to be doing a twin flame general message for the collective, okay? So these messages are for twin flames who are just on the journey and you need to know specific types of information about the way you guys interact or that you may communicate or certain things that end up coming up. The reason I've decided to start announcing what type of reading it is at the beginning is so that I can add the videos to my playlist. Therefore, you guys can go to those playlists and check out what videos are new and have just recently been posted versus just watching random readings that I post. I know not all of us are on the same place on the twin flame journey, and so sometimes it might be very triggering to hear a romance reading from me if you're not on that place in the journey. Or it could be very triggering to hear a sexual reading, or sometimes you may not care so much for the twin flame energy messages, okay? So these might be things that we need to know, like twin flame signs, information about what happens when you're in separation, what to do about the dark night of the soul. So really like Hierophant energy, okay? Like sources of information that will help you to ascend and will comfort you and soothe you on this journey. And then there's other videos that I have for the other types of various energies that we experience while on this ride, okay? Especially ascension towards our own sexuality, how sexuality doesn't only mean just getting it on with someone, and that it is actually a force within us that can help us in many other areas of our lives, including our wands, okay? Our passions. Sexual energy fuels the drive for you to create. Yeah, I just thought that I would separate it, okay? So I'll have sexual readings, romance readings, twin flame messages, and then specific divine masculine updates. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig into this reading because I was in the shower this morning and I kept hearing like someone's wearing a false mask. And then I kept hearing your self-respect makes you more attractive. And I'm familiar with these phrases because it's the Love Yourself First card in the Romance Angel deck. Okay, so this one talks about your self-respect. And then I also have the Deception card that talks about someone wearing a false mask. And interestingly enough, the information I was getting around this is when the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine connect sexually. And what I mean by that is there's two scenarios that end up occurring, and I don't know why the heck I'm being guided to talk about this or just say it, but I hope that whoever's tuned in or if you were guided to click on the message that it resonates for you somehow. Okay, so the first scenario is the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine, okay? So he connects to her very sexually. He is very in love with her. Therefore, the only ways he knows how to express it is by showing her how much he is attracted to her, how much he wants to do to her body to make her feel good. Anything he can do to make her feel good is oftentimes like what the Divine Masculines want to do when they are trying to peel off the layers in terms of like how they love, what they think about love. And so when the Divine Feminine comes along and she triggers this part of him, like I feel like he feels love so much to the point where the only way he knows how to express it, because it's very hard to do it with words and emotions and slowing his psyche down, like his thought process, instead of trying to slow that down, he's more action oriented, which is let me just show you. That's why many masculines, they're just on the go all the time. So when you find that your masculine comes off towards you very sexually, there's so much I'm getting out of this message, guys. Okay. When he comes towards you very sexually, he's trying to basically have like a release of like this built up emotion that he feels for you that he's not able to express in words. Some of you may not even like get to the point of like bonding on an intimate level with your masculine because you're so triggered by the fact that like all he keeps talking about is sex and you guys never get to his point of release. Because you guys end up in an argument about, is sex all you want? Like, what do you want from me? Like, is this all you think about? Are you addicted to sex? Blah, 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 blah. And that comes from our triggering in the Divine Feminine energy, because I know a lot of the Divine Feminines throughout childhood, we might have been told things like men only want one thing and make sure we get our education and make sure we're independent because if a man comes after you in this way, that's all he wants. And like, you know what I mean? Like I've personally experienced it as well. And so, you know, like, okay, let me just take a time out here because I'm looking at the Love Yourself First card. And I feel like that message is how the divine feminines know that they can protect themselves against any illusions. This is how you'll be able to connect with your masculine on a very intimate, platonic, unconditional loving level. You're not looking for him to love you because you have that self-love within you already. You don't need him to validate you. He could ghost you and you would be okay with yourself. A lot of the times when our masculine ghosts us, like it's bringing up issues of like, oh my God, I'm alone, or oh my God, I feel rejected, or oh my God, I feel abandoned. And many times when you really dig deep, this feeling within you has been triggered by so many other people in your life, maybe a little bit more than you would have liked it to growing up, which is why it's so hard when your masculine does it. And I feel like that's important to acknowledge in this moment here, because having self-love is the moment you feel rejected or abandoned by your counterpart. And instead of holding them responsible for fixing that feeling within you by coming back, you have to let go of their presence and appreciate the lesson that they've given to you. And now take time out to explore your inner child, to explore the memories that made you feel that way in the first place. You have to be the one to put yourself back together, not anybody else. And you have the power to do that by the feeling of unconditional love within you. You're part of source. And this is why at the beginning I was saying we all have a guide that we're connected to in terms of just like helping us. Or sorry, maybe I did that in the previous reading and then I shut it off because I got way too into talking about spirit guides and angels. So forgive me for that. But what I was trying to get at was that like loving yourself first and being fearless in this connection and not being afraid of like the hurt and the ghosting and the separation, and whether they're with a karmic partner or they're blah, 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 like whatever the case is, we got to have our own backs here. Like this journey cannot destroy us, guys. You know, and I've been feeling a lot of that energy coming through in terms of even myself feeling so secure in my connection. It's like this can manifest in the physical or it can't. Either way, I got me to think about. And it is such an empowering feeling. So this Love Yourself card is coming up for many of you because your self-respect is what makes you more attractive. As long as you have that self-respect and admiration and love for yourself, divine feminines, move about freely in your connection. If your masculine comes towards you sexually and you know deep down that's what you want, that's exactly right up your alley, go for it. And stop listening to the voices that tell you, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. And oh, you're making yourself look desperate. And oh, a lady doesn't say things like that. It's like, according to who? I take care of myself, so technically I could do whatever the hell I want, you know? So don't be afraid, because I'm getting very like Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords energy here as well. There's our Queen of Swords right there. Okay, so I have our Queen of Swords here that wants to come to the table. And I'm going to do our Queen of Wands too. There she is, okay? Even with her sexuality, she's like taking off her own clothes in this picture. And the Queen of Swords is sitting there like, you know what? You could stay up there in a picture. If I have to look at your picture and love you from afar, that's what I'll do. But again, guys, like even with the Queen of Swords, like with all of the pins in the heart here, I've mentioned this before on the channel, but it's about letting go of things, even if it hurts, right? Like it'll literally hurt your heart to make a decision sometimes. But if you know that is within your best interest, looking out for yourself, having that sharp thought to know, to cut through any kind of illusion, allowing people to carry their own baggage, things like that, you don't have to explain to anybody how it is you're connecting with your masculine. And this includes your divine masculine. Sometimes your divine masculines might trigger you in the sense where even you as the divine feminine might come off very sexual in your connection. And he might say something to try to shame you or to try to you know, trigger that social conditioning within you. And I feel like the Queen of Wands is like, okay, try again, because I am proud of who I am. I love my body. I take care of myself. If I'm coming towards you in this way and you're unprepared for it, then you're the one that needs to do inner work here, not me, you know? And I feel like she's kind of boldly stating that in this moment. And I feel like in return, he kind of does have that self-respect and admiration, because it's like, okay, well, what else can I really say? Like, at the end of the day, when I look at her, she does take care of herself and take care of her own. And so whether she's coming at me in what way or what, as long as you do not give into feelings of like shame or guilt for what it is you're doing, and you carry yourself with integrity and with grace, your sexuality is powerful, divine feminines. It's to be explored. And if you're triggering your divine masculine, then that is fantastic for his healing. And he will come back as the King of Wands and the King of Swords to really match that strong, grounded energy within you. That very like, I don't give to, I want to curse, but now I don't. I don't give a shit, you know? And even the magic, like the goggles there too. It's like he's seeing very clearly now, like who's in front of him. And I feel many of your masculines too, like they really want to like step into that role of being like your match. And you guys continuously trigger this feeling out of each other. Like, I think early on in the connection, when the masculines were like ghosting the feminines and she was like on the chase, and then she continued to chase until she made this like, you know, bump in the road and she ran into the Empress, and the Empress was like, my darling, like you look ruffled as a fowl. Are you okay? And the Empress picks her up and she's like, let me take you back to my castle and we'll have a talk. And the Empress really helped her out, you know? And so instead of continuing to run towards the masculine, like she was learning from the Empress this whole time. The Empress introduced her to the High Priestess, to the Hierophant, you know. They sat down, they had dinner together. And, you know, now it's time to take off that false mask and appear it as who it is you are, divine feminine. In front of your masculine. I feel like holding back on who it is you are, especially when it comes to your sexuality. Like, let's say you take care of all of your business and then it comes to interacting with your masculine and he ends up coming towards you very sexually, and you're feeling shy to really let out how it is you feel with him, even though I feel like a lot of the times that's exactly what they're waiting for, just to help you grow in that area. Sometimes the divine feminine might catch herself falling flat because she might be like, oh my God, I don't know what to say to you wanting to take down my panties and, you know, thrust your big in my you know, like she kind of freezes up in text message and she's like, oh my God, I don't know the words to say to that, you know? And I feel like really at the end of the day, divine feminine, if you take a deep breath and you relax, you'll know exactly what it is you want to say. And don't be afraid to say it. And divine feminines also, I just want to like let you guys know as well, there is like, okay, let's say you can't get away from the fact that it's like, okay, I do like sexting and getting naughty, but I don't like vulgar ways of doing it. There's still a very elegant way that you can sext or communicate or have phone conversations with your divine masculine that still helps you to feel very secure. You can still express yourself in ways that are more gentle, but the point is to not hold back or freeze up or try to change the conversation or get triggered of like, oh, is this all he wants? No, like if at the end of the day you're curious to know what it's like to interact with him and you feel safe enough to do it, don't wear a false mask and do what it is you want, and stop listening to social programming around your expressions of sexuality. Do whatever it is you want to do. And also for those of you who, you know, don't want to do or give in to sexual advances and things like that, tell your masculine, be upfront and say, hey, listen, I love it that you're so passionate, but at this time, like, that's just not something I'm interested in. It's not something that I'm ready to do. And if at the core you firmly feel that, express it. Don't be afraid of them ghosting or running, because a lot of you guys who are in this energy of like, I don't really want to do that. You guys are the ones hitting him up with the dirty talk. And then at the end of the day, you're just like, oh God, this is so boring. Why? Because you might completely identify with the term demisexual, which is you guys need to build an intimate bond and connection with someone before you feel very sexually attracted. And that's okay too. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Take the mask off. Know that your self-respect is there. No one can take it from you. And not even your masculine, and not society, not anyone who has said anything demeaning to you growing up, woman to woman, divine feminine to divine masculine. I am here to tell you that, on this path, these are all things that are coming into play in your life, your autonomy, your decisions, everything we do step by step, we have to take responsibility and accountability for it. So yeah, this is a big message towards like expressing yourselves in the truest way possible and knowing that your twin flame is going to love and admire you for being yourself. Even if you think that by telling them what you're going to tell them, it's going to create separation, silence, whatever the case is, let it happen, because you cannot go backwards on your journey when you're constantly pushing yourself to express your truth. All right. I hope this reading finds you all well. You know what? I totally said I was going to draw, but I got distracted by pulling the queens. Let's go ahead and get one message here from just the chalices, okay? Just the cups, about what your divine masculine wants to say. Like when you do express your truth, this is what he experiences in his heart center. Okay. Let's go ahead and see. So we have the 10 of Cups coming up here, okay? So I feel like this card says, like, when you two are like the best versions of yourself, taking care of your own needs, filling your own cup, filling yourself up with your own fruit, and so much to the point where you're able to offer it in confidence, divine feminines, it's a very attractive energy for the divine masculines. I feel like with him too, even moving away, it's like not even wanting to like make the advance because he's not sure what he's going to trigger, what the outcome is going to be. But I feel like for many of you who are on this journey of like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I go about this? It's all a learning curve, and you guys are learning to be truthful and honest in expressing your love with your twin flames. And I feel like, yeah, as long as you're doing that honestly, you can't go wrong, taking care of your own needs, making sure your own cups are full. Like instead of waiting for someone to have this 10 of Cups, like having that 10 of Cups all on your own, so that when it comes to interacting with your twin flame, it's like, a beautiful, beautiful expression of who it is you both are at the core. Okay, so no more false masks, no more trying to be something you're not. Be confident in who it is you already are, and just express that side of yourself. Because really, at the end of the day, all of the triggering leads back to you guys just, at the end of the day, shooting the shit together and just being comfy with each other, right? There's no need for deceptions or masks. Your counterpart accepts you for who it is you are right now. All right. I love you guys. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.